G'day, David. Welcome back.
Thanks,
Video
Mark.
number 3.
Yeah, it's going well.
Thank you very much. What we were both discussing was these leading attributes an engineering manager has, and we're going to drill down a little bit more into 3 of them. There are potentially a lot more, but we're going to categorize them into 3 sections. One is being self-motivated. You coined the term having a leading mindset, and also having the ability to have robust debates. Okay. So I'm going to put it back to you, which one you would like to start with, and whether it's self-motivation, having a leading mindset, and robust debates.
I think the easiest one we could probably talk about is the self-motivation piece, because what happens, I think, when you leave university, or when you're in university, you leave university, you get to a graduate program, and in a graduate program, they're going to tell you what you need to do. Here's the program. You're going to do this stuff, and if you do this stuff, you're going to finish the graduate program. Sure. So you've got a path that's given to you, and you're directed along it. And then in your earlier stages of engineering, it's the same. You need to learn this, you need to learn that, and you need to do this. And these are all the things that if you do, you will become a senior mechanical engineer. Let's just use mechanical. And so you get given this path that you have to follow. And so you just follow the path. You do what people tell you, you follow the path, and you become a senior. But then once you become a senior, the self-motivation starts to have to take over, because the quest to learn more, and the inquiring mind, and needing to know things and explore the unknown is your own motivation. It won't come to you naturally through your job anymore. You won't get those broader experiences. You won't get the new information, because you'll be good at your job and you'll turn up every day, and the path is no longer laid out for you. You can be a senior mechanical engineer and you can do a great job. And unless you start developing that self-motivation to keep pushing, you'll generally just plateau, because no one will lay you a path to go out anymore. So that's where self-motivation is really couples in with intention of deciding that you're going to go do something, rather than just sit down and have your spot.
I'll throw in what I'm reading from that. You've got the potential to paint yourself into a corner. So you become very good at something: mechanical, civil, structural, electrical, control. You pop your head up after 10 years and go, I'm exhausted. I'm sick of doing this. I want something different. But now you've got to do you've followed all the rules and everyone's shown you what to do, and you're getting paid extremely well for what you're doing, and you want to diversify. Now, it doesn't matter when that happens, I guess. I mean, it can start later in life or early in life, but it is easier if you do it earlier, because you keep developing those skills. You don't have to be a perfectionist. That's what a lot of engineers are. They're all perfectionists. They all know they want to learn everything perfectly, get the best results for every project. And it's not always that way. So how do you position yourself? Or, you've got 2 options. You either stay the beaten path and become the expert in an area. And then we were talking about having robust debates before, right? So when you're an expert at something, I wouldn't say there's much debating going on.
Yeah, that's very true. And that's difficult. And I think when we first mentioned it, it was as an engineering manager, or even as a lead. You're right. What happens is that in your first 10 years of your career, you start getting very, very good at what you do. And it's a horrible phrase, but you kind of start to become the smartest person in the room in your field. What you say is probably right because you've done it before. I think when you become a lead, or you become an engineering manager, you start to get into those positions where you have to be accepting of the fact that you possibly don't know the answer. And so that means that you could very well be wrong. And therefore, when you have a debate with someone, you're not always going to be right. And a lot of people take that as being personally offensive because they've been used to being right for so long that when they're wrong, they take it personally. But I think you have to be open to that because you're learning something every time. Every time you're wrong, you've learned something. But you have to welcome people to bring you ideas and concepts that don't align with what you believe is true. And that's that part of having robust debates. It's not a personal attack. It's the discomfort that comes with learning new things. You mentioned doing it early or versus late. And I think the earlier you start doing that and the more comfortable you get with it, the better it is, because you then have the benefit of youth where people expect you to not know everything. So they're willing to give you information and willing to discuss with you. But also you haven't developed a reputation of not being willing to engage in conversations. So, you don't want to have a reputation of being someone who is unwavering and doesn't listen. You want to develop a reputation of, please bring me your best ideas. And they don't have to be mine. I'd love to debate with you whether they're great. And if it's what we go with, that's fantastic. And that gives you the reputation around being that person who, may become a great leader over time.
Yeah, because it's, I would have thought, even if you're willing to discuss a subject matter. Now, let's say, for example, how many times, I can't tell you how many times it's happened to me, where you think you know the answer. I'm pretty sure you think 100% I've got this, I know what it is. Then only to debate it a little bit with someone else and they throw their own perspective on it, it makes you change the way you're looking at it slightly. And then there's a little bit of grey that pops up. Now, it's very easy to get a rubber and rub the grey out, change your mind. And I think that's where this word organic comes in, is where it's got to be more organic. You've got to be willing to change or at least debate the issue before you start putting pen to paper or scratching the paper or doing the design, Because I think it's the more engaging you are, there is a point where you can't continually do that. You've got to draw a line in the sand to get something finished. However, I think that's that attribute you're looking for in an engineering manager or potential engineering manager, that they're willing to do that across the disciplines.
Yeah, it's that also it's not accepting the status quo. I think if you're very good at something, you often do it the way you've done it before. Yeah. Because there's that safety, and engineers tend to be naturally risk averse. That's sort of an attribute that I think is quite strong within engineering. They're risk averse. Yeah. And it comes with there's a good saying, I think we might talk about it later in a different video, but it's that protecting the downside versus reinforcing the upside. Risk averse engineers tend to be, if I do it the same way I did it last time, there's a certainty in the fact that it worked last time, so it'll work this time. And I think as you get further up further into the management roles, you need to be challenging that mindset to drive innovation and drive improvement. So as you said, before you go like, let's just draw what we did last time, it's that there could be a better way. And I'm not going to find that unless I have a robust discussion where we start to say, surely we can do better than this, or my idea can't be the best. I'm not the most experienced in the room. How could I possibly have the best idea? What do you guys think? And encourage that robust discussion, and accept the fact that you might do the status quo. We're not throwing it out. No. So it's not right or wrong, but we're going to have a debate about it because we might find a significantly better outcome where none of us in our own right were correct, but through collaborative discussion, we've all come up with a better solution. And being open to that and doing it early and practicing it makes it part of your usual work methodology. And that's sort of where personal growth comes in. It's harder to do, I think, the longer you go without doing it, the harder it is to start doing it. So I think that's an attribute that's worth working on.
Yeah, old dogs, new tricks. That's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a lot of things like HAZOP, CHAZOP meetings that challenge the lead design, and that can be confronting if you're not used to it. I remember when I went through that, I thought, these guys are giving me a hard time. They're really challenging him, but they needed to do it because they were making sure it was correct,
Yeah.
But the tools seem to be there. These methodologies within the project seem to be there. So it is something that I guess it's a personal attribute. It's got to be something that you identify in yourself that you want to do.
Yeah.
Or you want to expand yourself personally. I don't think it's something that I've been in this business for 10 years as a lead engineer, and I've been waiting patiently to become an engineering manager, but no one's offering it to me. I don't think that is the mentality I would look for. I'd be looking, for me personally, I'd be looking for someone who's going over and above and learning something else within the other disciplines and developing the skill sets. Have you found that to be the case?
Yeah, we mentioned a leading mindset. We spoke briefly about that, and I think it's, I've worked with a lot of people over the years, partly through my role and partly through my own motivation to help people sort of progress their careers. And what I've found is that it's a mindset. If you're sitting there thinking that this will come to me because I deserve it, or if I just keep doing this long enough, someone's bound to notice how great I am and offer me the role, I think you're going to be sadly disappointed. There'll be people who get by on that, like I've waited, but as a general rule, if you want to be intentional about your own career and design your career to get where you want to go, I think it's, developing the skills that are going to be needed to be successful in the role. And that's where I think a leading mindset is that one of the great differences, I believe, between senior engineers and highly technical people is a leading mindset where you start to imagine how the future can be and how it would be different, and what skills you would need and where you're going to get them from. And we talked about self-motivation. So this is the same, where it's like, no one's asking you to do these things. No one's telling you to do these things. It's all on you. What skills do I need? What areas don't I know about? What disciplines don't I know about? What interpersonal skills don't I have? And it's great. And, when working with people, you can often challenge them in that space. Well, I came to a meeting and you seem to get quite worked up about it, but you've got to understand that it's not a personal attack. That robust discussion is really valuable. You need to welcome that into your learning opportunities. So having that as the motivation to seek new opportunities, seek new experiences, be uncomfortable, that for me is a leading mindset. It leads you along the path to your success. And if you've got a mindset that says, well, if I wait long enough, or if I wait for opportunities to present, and I think as a general rule, waiting is generally not a good strategy for most things, right? So I think that's where developing the mindset, and you can develop it. You through reflection and through working with coaches and mentors, and you can develop those skills and be comfortable with them, so that when opportunities do present to take on leadership roles, you're quite well prepared and you're an ideal candidate. I think that's being very intentional with where you want to go with your career.
Sure. So do you, with your business, Refine and Hone, is that something that you offer people that are trying to take their career from, let's say, a lead role into an engineering management role?
Yeah, definitely. It's the sort of thing that I really like doing, and I'm offering it as one of the services as part of Refine and Hone. And it's around the career development planning in terms of what is it that you would like to achieve and how are you going to go about it. And it's for people who are also ready to make the shift and are maybe having difficulty finding a way to do it or finding the skill sets they need. And so through that planning the career path and then looking at what experience do you have and what experience do you need, I can sort of support people in making that transition from either senior to lead roles or technical lead roles into people leadership roles, because they're not organic. They're not wait around and just by nature you'll get there. They're things that you do have to do.
Yeah, over the years of watching, and I've always been fascinated with people's careers, and I've watched their careers develop, and I've realized there was no accidents. You don't accidentally become the CEO. You don't accidentally become the engineering manager. It is something you set out to do. And people go, oh, how did you get there? And I go, well, obviously they had it in the back of their head that what they wanted to do a long time ago.
Yeah, it does definitely. I think that's the key. And we spoke once about something that I think really resonated, is that there aren't a lot of these roles. So, it is a pyramid. There's one CEO and there's 5,000 employees. So, the people who have intention are going to be the ones who get there. Because as you said, of the 100 people who might like the idea of being an engineering manager, or who might like the idea of being, in my case, an executive, there's lots of people who like the idea.
Absolutely.
But you don't get there by just liking and waiting. And that's the piece around being quite intentional about how you're going to get there.
So, David, if they want to get hold of you, what's the best way to? What would you like them to do? Just to reach out to you on LinkedIn, or?
I'd love them to reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can go to my website at www.refinehome.com and go over to the Contact Us page. You'll see there's a phone number, an email address, and a form that you can fill out. So yeah, please do that. Reach out, and I'd love to have a chat, because I really think there's a lot of great people out there who have the potential to take on these sorts of roles that might just need a bit of help to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, mate. Thanks again. Looking forward to the next one.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mark. See you later.
Bye, mate.